So why don't you go ahead and tell us from your point of view how things went down, and yeah, people will be able to ask follow-up questions afterwards, of course.
Regarding to the Wonderland, so what happened was like, so we reached out. Basically, I personally reached out to the Sifu personally on his Telegram, because previously, before this conversation started, you have to see the whole history of how the Wonderland funded us and what happened. So let me give a quick summary, so people that who are not aware of that, maybe somebody
Sure.
who joined recently, so that they can understand the story where it started. So you
And
can
to
see in
clarify, we're going way back. We're going way back to the
yeah,
very beginning.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. So from the day of funding, it's better to say the whole story from the day of funding, so that people understand the whole story rather than you get the bits and pieces of it. So if you see that I personally met with to an introduction, to Daniel A. In last year December, exactly the same time, around 22, 23 of December. So we discussed it. They said he liked the whole idea of the betting, peer-to-peer betting in a blockchain, and they're happy to fund it. And then we agreed on getting the funding done on January, which was successfully done. Around January 4th, we got the funding. And then without even a notice to us, they went and they said that they're going to list the token, and they listed it on SushiSwap. Then we saw the price literally jump to 18 cents on the day one. That the day we were valued around $1.8 billion market cap. At the day, we didn't even have a product. We didn't even have a product. We didn't have customers. We was not generating any revenue. But on that day, we were valued 1.8 billion. And then you can see today we have a product, and we have revenue. We're generating revenue. We are having users, and we are even getting B2B partnership, and our valuation is much, much, much lower. So that's the crazy part of the whole crypto industry is. So to come back to the whole story. So after that, we know that we got a lot of community members joining us. They were praising us. They were supporting the Wonderland community. Was hailing us. Wow! And then suddenly, exactly after 2 weeks from the funding, there is this whole exposing truth about the treasury manager. It was so-called Sifu, supposed to be ex Quadriga, Michael, and the whole thing went up. And then it's like it literally put the Wonderland community into a split. And then they had the liquidation event or something happened at the same around the time. There was one of the small minor crash in the crypto industry that happened, and then it liquidated some people out there, and then automatically you can see that the community split into other half. And then it's the other half also split into other half. Then they started to keep splitting and splitting and splitting down to a small group of 100,000 from 400,000. And if you see what they promised to us in the day one when they listed our token, the promise was to hold on, vest is whatever tokens was supposed to be vested, and number two is like hold on these tokens to so and so date, and if to distribute it to certain team members, and these were agreed upon, right? But later, after the Wonderland became like they had this whole split between themselves, and they were getting into a new treasury manager called Skyhawk. Hopper came in, and then these guys started to start the redemption, which was never been agreed upon. We never had like a thing that they will go and redeem and dump our tokens like this. These things were not at all agreed upon when they initially funded us. But later on, their whole fiasco took our coin, and it damaged our reputation, and it also it hurted our price, and our holders and our other private investors got hurt because of their movement of going and dumping it, redeeming it, which was not at all part of the agreement from the day one. And then because of this, we saw that the price was hurting and hurting and hurting. And then, but the funny part is, this is what I put you an example, right? So on the day one of the listing of the coin, it went to 18 cents. And on that day, we didn't have a product. And today we have a product, and it's been working successfully. And we, by far, we are the one of the few, to solve this problem of betting industry using a blockchain technology. And then we even demonstrated it, even at the FIFA successfully. We did a good amount of volume, and now our valuation is much, much lower. So that's because of too much supply of tokens in the market by the redemption and other things. So this is the reason that which triggered me personally to reach out to Sifu and come out with a deal saying that we are happy to buy back the tokens, all of it, an OTC deal. But this is not the first time I proposed to him. Even we proposed previously, right? We proposed it when Skyhopper or when there was other treasury manager, they changed. We proposed it and they rejected it. They said that they're not willing to do OTC deal, so and so, and they refused it even a couple of times before.
At the
And then this
redemption,
is
right?
yes,
We were
correct.
talking to Wonderland.
Exactly. We reached out to them. We said like we were happy to take it. They said no, we are not willing to sell. This price is low for us, so and so. Then I personally, at one point I have to, text him and say, hey, if you keep on going like this, you're gonna hurt the price more and more. It's not gonna benefit you or the Wonderland or even us. So either way,
But
it is hurting both of us, right?
is there
Uh,
any reason you reached out to Sifu in particular instead of Wonderland?
because the reason is come on, man, the whole truth everybody knows. He's the one who's controlling the Wonderland. And the funny part is we try to reach to the TOs and they're not responding to us. They're saying not interested, not interested. And then it's better to go to the boss, real boss. So and text him, hey man, this is the thing. And he said, okay, let me talk to the TOs and come back. That's what he responded to me. And then later on he said, okay, we have a deal. Then we will put up a vote. Then they went and passed on the vote. So before the voting, we never discussed about how the deal will be structured. So we only said, are you willing to sell? That was my only question was. And then they said, okay, let me post the vote, let it pass on. So then they immediately, created a vote. The vote successfully passed on with 99%. That happy to do a OTC deal at that price. Now the second part is to how do we do the deal, right? This is where the whole contradiction happened, and then this is where the whole things came into a little bit messy. So my proposal, see, you have to understand from the day one, everybody knows that everybody is watching our treasury wallet, that we have multi-sig, right? We are not the one person. It's not only me that I'm signing, and I'm not the only person who's authorizing any payments. It is me and the other Max, and then we have other couple of people from that advisors that who are actually monitoring that whole fund movement so that it's not been misused or it's been completely like controlled. So it's not only it's me that I can do a sign and then the deal is done. There has to be even other partners has to vet to it and sign to it.
But
So
Wonderland
what
were never in direct contact with you, right? This was solely a conversation between you and Sifu, and there was a mutual understanding that you would have to talk to your team and Sifu would have to talk to the Wonderland team, obviously, for this deal to happen.
exactly. I never spoke to Wonderland, never. As one, it is me and Sifu, exactly. Personally, it's between me and Sifu. Yeah. So yeah, my proposal was like, hey, at the same time, we have to understand that we are entering the like a deep dark crypto winter now. I know the whole industry is aware of the FTX and all the things happening around us. So we know that the fundraising going to be like a very tough right now for next at least 1 year or so, unless that we see some green signals coming back once this whole dynamo effect of FTX is affecting all the businesses. So we know that there's going to be a liquidity crunch. So at the same time, if you want to build properly the platform, which we will be talking later on, what plans we have in the future, how do we plan to navigate this bear market, we will cover that later. But we need some cash flow as well, right? We cannot just take everything and then go